Have you been battling with finally starting something but find yourself being held back by unforeseen forces? That exactly is what this video will help you solve. I'll be giving you the full summary of the book War of Art by Steven Pressfield that can get you started and help you tap into all your creative spirit and also help you give your best work to the world. By the way, my name is Xandraly, your bookish friend from Xandraly. And at Xandraly, we encourage reading and help you on your reading journey to become your best self. We have seen the magic of reading and made it our mission to help more people fall in love with reading through our engaging and quality content just like this one. Join us today if you haven't by subscribing now and joining our reading community with the link in the description box. Big thank you to our returning subscribers. Take a big hug. Subscribe now so I can hug you in our next video. With that being said, pick a pen and paper and get ready to note down the invaluable insights I would share with you now. Let's begin. War of Art by Steven Pressfield is a popular book on creativity, how to harness our creative powers and becoming a professional in our craft by overcoming an enemy called resistance. This enemy stops us from starting and pushing through with our work. Defining the enemy, resistance. We start from the quote from the book which says, "When we sit down each day and do our work, power concentrates around us. We become like magnetized rods that attract iron feelings. Ideas come, insights are created." Steven Pressfield. The secret to writing is this. The writing part is not the hard part, but sitting down to write. This also can be applied to any field. You have to start something before you can achieve something in that thing. Creativity in itself demands labor. When inspiration touches talent, she gives birth to truth and beauty. The thing that keeps us from sitting down to start our work is resistance. We all have our lived and unlived life, that which you can become. But in between both lives is the demon called resistance. Resistance is the most toxic force on the planet. It is evil and prevents us from achieving the beautiful and great life God intended for us when He endowed us with His unique genius. Resistance is what stops us from doing what our inner genius is calling us to do. You must retrace your steps and listen to your inner voice. Characteristics of resistance. Resistance is invisible, an energy field radiating from a work in potential. Resistance is internal and insidious. It is unstoppable. It acts objectively, not emotionally. Resistance is infallible in that it must allow us not take actions on those things that are important to us. Resistance is universal. Everyone experiences resistance and it must be fought daily. Resistance aims to kill our genius and the unique gift we were put on earth to harness. Resistance is fueled by fear. Master your fears and conquer resistance. Resistance is more powerful at the finish line because it knows we are about to win. Most importantly, resistance recruits allies, people who sabotage your work and dreams, especially when you are starting to break out. The best you can do for others struggling with resistance is to serve as an inspiration to them. Symptoms of resistance. First, procrastination. Resistance mostly manifests itself in the form of procrastination because it's easy to rationalize. This causes harm in subtle ways. We just put off our lives today, but put it off till our deathbed. Resistance makes us choose the easier routes and bad habits because they provide immediate and powerful gratification. It causes us to self-rationalize on why we shouldn't take a particular action now. Procrastination causes unhappiness, wasting of time and energy on useless things. Second, self-dramatization. Taking actions or habits that are harmful to us or even allowing others brainwash us into taking actions detrimental to us is a symptom of resistance. Third symptom of resistance is choice of partners. Most times, instead of being conscious of our resistance and pursue our unlived lives, people prefer to choose a partner that have successfully mastered their resistance and end up supporting them to pursue theirs because we believe we could not go for ours. Next symptom of resistance is criticism. Basically criticizing others who are living out their purpose because you couldn't face yours. Stop it. Fear. The degree of fear equates the strength of resistance. The more fear you have for something, the more important it is for you to do that thing. The more you face and complete tasks with high resistance, the more gratified you feel. Next is afraid of being alone. Seeking too much support before you start can hold you back. Believe that resistance can be beaten and overcome. How to combat resistance? To combat resistance, you have to take charge of your work and imbibe the attitude of a professional. Who is a professional? A professional is someone who has overcome resistance. He builds inspiration by sitting down to work. He strives to be a professional and apply professionalism to your work. Attributes of a professional. A professional is patient, he knows his work, will take a lot of time and effort to accomplish, and is willing to follow through till the end. They understand delayed gratification. A professional seeks order and demystifies. He acts in the face of fear. He accepts no excuses and does the most important thing first before resistance sets in. A professional is prepared to go on the long haul to confront his self-sabotage and any challenges that he faces daily. He doesn't crave attention and dedicates himself to mastering his techniques. Professionals recognize the works of those ahead of him and learn from them. They seek help when needed, and professional doesn't take failure or success personally. They take criticism and look for areas to improve. They self-validate always. They don't depend on others' opinion. They reinvent themselves and are recognized by other professionals. Treat yourself as a corporation because it reinforces the idea of professionalism by separating you from your will and consciousness who are running the show. It gives you a healthy distance from yourself. The essence of professionalism is to focus upon your work and its demands to the exclusion of all else. See yourself as a pro and stick to the work required. Beyond resistance, going to the higher realm. We have allies who support us and sustain us in our purpose and calling. These invisible psychic forces are muses and angels. Since there is resistance who acts to prevent us from acting on our work, we also have allies which are equal and opposite powers who counterpoise resistance forces. It's only when we sit down each day to do our work that heavens come to our aid. Unseen forces enlist in our cause. Serendipity reinforces our purpose. Power concentrates around us. The muse takes note of our dedication and approves of us. How do you invoke the muse? Say a prayer to your muse before you start work. Show respect to the unseen power who can make or mar you. The muse needs corporate being like us to bet ideas from higher realm to the material plane. When you decide to start anything, confidence moves too. You get help and clarity when you start. Boldness has genius, magic and power in it. Angels and muses are here to help you when you get stuck. When you start and commit to your work, even in the face of fears, angels congregate around us and assist us to bet our real selves and genius. Ideas can come to us in form of a still inner voice. God speaks to us also through this voice. Pay attention to the voice and allow it to help you create more original and excellent work. This voice is beyond our conscious thoughts and is more intelligent. They know deep down what's truly important to us and counsel us wisely. Follow what is truly important and live out your unlived life. Young model of the psyche. The model represents the psyche. It contains the self, the ego, and divine ground. The ego is the conscious person, I, that plans and thinks daily activities. This is the seat of resistance. The self is a greater entity that includes ego but also incorporates personal and collective unconsciousness. This self houses the ego, unconscious, angels, and muse. In the face of the likelihood of death, our seat of consciousness shifts from the ego to self. This charges us to know what's truly important. The self is constantly fighting the ego to help us actualize our unlived life. The divine ground is God Himself. The self and the ego lives and exist here. Everything that exists is God in one form or the other. Everything is sustained by God. The divine ground is the source of infinite wisdom and mystery. You should work towards reducing your ego and tap into your real self. You tap into yourself by fasting, praying, meditating, doing activities that alter consciousness. The real fear is that we will succeed and become the person we sense in our heart that we truly are. Find out who you truly are and become it already. Territory versus hierarchy. Individuals define themselves in one of these ways: by their rank within a hierarchy or by connection to a territory. This is how they achieve psychological security. A professional must define himself territorially as part of something bigger and not hierarchically, because someone in an hierarchy is always in competition with those above and below. This helps you not to rely on external validation. Do what you want to do because of yourself and not for validation. Find your territory and occupy. You know you're acting territorially if you are energized and sustained by what you are doing, not on the impression it makes on others. In summary, there exist the higher planes of reality, which are timeless, spaceless, and in love with time, which always wants to communicate with us. To send out this intelligence and invention into the physical plane. Our job as artists is to bring the vision that angels and muse communicate to this plane. The enemy of the artist is the ego, which bets resistance. Move away from the ego and embrace the self while tapping into the infinite wisdom on the divine ground. If you do not become what you've been called by God to be, you deprive the world and yourself. Creative work is not a selfish act, but a gift to the world and every being in it. Don't cheat the world of your contribution. Give us all you've got. I hope you found this summary helpful. It should encourage you to read the book and also be conscious of resistance and fight aggressively against it. A lot going into making videos like this, and the least you can do now is to like, share, and subscribe to help us reach more people. Thank you for watching and happy reading. See you in our next video.